Recently, I got a comment on my YouTube video asking about provide a guide for someone who wants to switch from non-tech background into a tech background. And I think I resonate with this problem because engineering के first year में I had literally no interest in coding. Now you'll say like, okay, तेरे पास तो computer science degree है, and how come you are saying this? But hear me out. The thing is, I was always interested in modeling, fashion designing, and marketing. I was least interested about coding. Then eventually during my second year, I started developing that interest. But then the other problem was, okay, interest तो आ गया, but अभी करना क्या है and कैसे? So in this video, I'll try to provide a guide who wants to start from scratch. This guide would include my personal journey, how I started to learn code. I'll try to provide like a step-by-step guide where you can level up with each step. So first step would be for beginners, second then you'll jump to the intermediate, and then the third would be advanced. If you are new here, I'm TJ, a full-time data analyst living in Ireland and a part-time YouTuber. Let's get started. These are the three steps which I have built over the course of 3-4 years. So first is the intermediate level, the first is the beginner level, second is the intermediate level, and third is the advanced. In the first step, which is the beginner level, I'm assuming that तुमको कुछ knowledge नहीं है, nothing at all, and then you want to enter into tech, but you don't have the fundamentals, basically starting from literally scratch. Don't worry, I have you covered. In the first level, assuming that you don't have any knowledge, fundamentals भी clear नहीं है, and you don't know anything about coding, so first thing I would recommend is this course, Harvard CES 50 course, जो तुमको basics of computer science बढ़ाएगा. And I have linked down in the description. You can click on that, and it's a free YouTube link. So you can just go there and watch that video. From this course, you'll get to know the fundamentals. And this course is based in Python. And there are other languages as well, like C++. फिर अभी तुम्हारा ये question होगा कि यार language कौन सी ले? Choosing a language. Python is better or C++, Java, JavaScript. There are so many languages. Everyone is saying ये अच्छी है, ये बुरी है, and then there are Rust, and then there's a lot of things coming these days. I would say Python would be the best language. Why? Because Python में you can do web development, you can do machine learning, you can do AI, you can do data analytics, you can literally do everything in Python, and Python is very easy to understand and as well as write. For beginners, I would say start with Python. Now, I personally started with JavaScript, but I think I should have started with Python. Start with Python because Python is used in every single thing. I would say Python would be a good starting point in terms of language. Then understand the fundamentals in that language. So what do I mean by fundamentals? Is like syntax. How do you write basic code in Python? What are the installations? सो बेसिकली तुमको कोड चलाने के लिए एक मशीन चाहिए होगी, लाइक यू हैव कंप्यूटर बट उसको रन करने के लिए यू नीड अ मशीन विच इज कॉल्ड द आईडीई. सो यू कैन यूज विजुअल स्टूडियो कोड. इट इज बाय फार द बेस्ट IDE. So stick with Visual Studio Code, download Visual Studio Code. There are multiple videos. I can link few in the description. Download Visual Studio Code. Start with Python, install Python, and then start learning basics of Python. Basics में क्या है? Like you have to learn what are for loops, what are classes, what are objects, what are functions, what is if else statement, what are variables, how do you declare a variable, how do you uh, assign value to a variable. अगर तुमको like and create a basic app. I won't say it will be a app, but write a basic program जो क्या करेगा, it will take input and then give something as an output. For example, you can write a code saying the code ऐसे होगा कि it will ask what is your name, and once you type your name it will display a print statement as your name is Tanmay, whatever input you have given. तो ये basic program हो गया, and in using this program you can understand okay variable कैसे store करते हैं, how to print statement, how to get an input, how to store data into a variable. ये सब तुमको वहाँ से cover होगा. Then move forward and then learn about what are for loops, what is if else statement, what are classes, what are objects, what are functions, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग क्या होती है, पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म, ये सब तुमको मिलेगा. एंड लाइक देयर आर लॉट ऑफ यूट्यूब वीडियोस आउट देयर. डोंट बी अफ्रेड कि तुमको कुछ नहीं आता है, यू बिकॉज दिस इज अ बिगिनर लेवल. ऐसे मत फील करना कि यार इफ समवन इज आस्किंग यू अ क्वेश्चन और तुमको उसका आंसर नहीं पता है, इट्स फाइन, इट्स लिटरली फाइन बिकॉज यू आर ऑन अ बिगिनर लेवल, you are still learning, right? So you watch a couple of tutorials, maybe do code along, या फिर pause करो, वापस जाओ, वापस देखो. It's totally fine. Then once you have chose your language, I would say Python would be recommended. If you want, you can go with C++, JavaScript, and etc. etc. If you want why I'm saying why to choose Python, you can check this video and come back here. Next, understand the fundamentals. In fundamentals, तुमको ये समझना है how does variables work, how does for loop work, what is an if else statement, what are classes, what are objects, what are functions, what is object oriented programming, OOP. And सबसे पहले, if you want to understand more, if you want to understand more about the fundamentals and everything, this course is best because इस course में Python के जरिए they are also explaining all these topics as well, like loops and everything. So I think if you do this course, most of the above things would be covered, and if not, then you can just search for a particular thing like OOP, and then you can understand the concepts of OOP. Okay, now that is your beginner level. Once you are कॉन्फिडेंट इनफ कि तुम फॉर लूप लिख सकते हो, तुम वाइल लूप चला सकते हो, तुम इफ एल्स स्टेटमेंट लिख सकते हो, then you can move to the next part, which is the intermediate part. Basically now you are on a level 2. Now you have to dive deep, and then there's a lot of things here, but I'll explain one by one. So first you have to learn about DSA now, data structures and algorithms. और डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स तुमने बेसिक्स पढ़ लिए होंगे, बट देन हाउ टू यूज देम, लाइक लिस्ट्स को कैसे यूज करते हैं, व्हाट आर टपल्स, व्हाट आर डिक्शनरीज, उनको कैसे यूज करते हैं. गेट नॉलेज अबाउट दैट, then go on lead code and solve the easy problem based on that. So basically arrays के related जो भी problems होंगे easy वाले, solve that. Arrays is equivalent to lists in Python, so don't get confused कि arrays क्या है, lists arrays क्या है, and ये तो पढ़ा नहीं. So it's equivalent to lists in Python. So you can do that. Once you have solved like few easy problems, तो तुमको और confidence आएगा. Okay, yeah, I have done it. एंड अगर नहीं भी कर रहे हो तो इट्स कम्प्लीटली फाइन. यू डोंट हैव टू वरी एंड बीट योर सेल्फ अप कि यार नहीं हो रहा है. लीड कोड पे यू ऑल्सो हैव लाइक सॉल्यूशंस एज वेल, so you can click on the solutions. You can also go and find the tutorial on that particular solution अगर नहीं समझ आ रहा है. That is completely fine because practice makes man perfect. So the more you practice, the more knowledge you have, and the more problems you solve on lead code, the more your problem solving capabilities will increase and critical thinking capabilities will increase. तो डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. अगर पहले बार में पहला प्रॉब्लम नहीं आ रहा है, दैट्स फाइन. इवन नाउ if I solve any problem, मुझे भी नहीं आता है. Like to be very honest, I spend like 45 minutes on few problems and then I'm like, okay, I can't understand it, so I'll go and read the theory about it, how a person is solving it, and then try to code. But अगर फिर भी समझ नहीं आ रहा है, then I will go and follow a tutorial. But initially I'm trying, but I'm not beating myself up कि अरे नहीं हो रहा है. It's completely fine. You're learning. Then practice more on lead code. Easy problems, I would say, medium and hard ke taraf mat jao. Start with easy, get those covered, and then eventually you can start jumping to medium level problems. Now next is start trying out domains. So for example, like web development, या फिर ML, या फिर data analysis, databases, backend. So what I'm trying to say here is, maybe take a small project, you can search on YouTube, pick up like a domain, for example web development. तो web development में Python में Django हो गया. So just go and create a basic web application जिसमें you are doing API calls or creating a form, front end form, and then pulling that data and then showing it in storing that into a database. So this is a very basic project. You don't have to do it on your own. You can use a follow along tutorial and build your projects alongside. These projects doesn't have to be very extreme level projects. Basic ones are literally fine because here we are learning about the use cases. I'm saying once you're done with few problem solving, you have developed that critical thinking wala part, then you switch to domains, and then domains में एक project बनाना शुरू कर दो. It doesn't have to be like very expert level project. A basic one are also fine. And अगर तुमको किसी भी पॉइंट पे लगता है, you can do the code along. It is not expected कि तुमको सब कुछ आना चाहिए. Once you are done with lead code easy problems and थोड़े बहुत medium problems, now you literally have a very good grasp on the DSA concept, on Python language, the syntax and everything. Now what you and you probably would have also built a project in using Python, maybe web development या फिर कोई data scraping का project बना लिया, like you have a Excel file and you are just putting the data from the web into that Excel file. Any basic project. Now what you have to do is, to step forward, the advanced level will be choose, now you have to choose a specific domain. जैसे अगर you have done web development and तुमको web development में interest आ रहा है, so intermediate level was all about figuring out कि okay, what does machine learning looks like, what does data analysis look like, what does web development look like. अगर तुमने सब एक एक domain में you have done basic project, then you will understand, okay, I love web development, I love how the API works, I love how the UI designing works. Now you have to stick to whatever niche you love and then develop projects in that. And now these projects should be little bit of higher level compared to the previous one. यहाँ पे basic form बना के छोड़ दिया, ये नहीं चलेगा. You have to take that extra mile and do something different. So it would be like building an end-to-end application. So I'll stick to web development because I personally started from there and I stick with that. So I was doing JavaScript, and जैसे मैंने बोला कि it is completely fine doing a code along tutorial. So I took a course on Udemy from Andre, and it is like a complete guide to web development in 2023 or 2024, whatever it is. um, so I did that, and usme I learned how API call works, how to store data, how encryption and decryption works, how you can do it. Now I did it in JavaScript, so but I would highly recommend Python because आजकल industry standard में JavaScript Python दोनों ही चलता है, but mostly Python is easier to grasp and everything. So you can go with Python. If you want, you can stick with JavaScript as well. It is also fairly easy. So in that I built an end-to-end application which is like a image recognition, which was fairly easy, and it was easy because I was doing a code along. But at least I got to know the fundamentals of that, building that project. When taking an extra mile, there was again one more course of building a whole complete e-commerce store which had payment integration, which has categories and everything. So I did that project as well, and वहाँ से मेरे core concepts were very strong. So this is what I'm saying. Like, and even at the same time, for my fourth year, I did a machine learning project where we compare different models. So basically, I've tried multiple domains, and then finally, I was like, okay, web development was very cool. So I did a big project using web development. At this stage, you will be ready. So now next steps would be you have to know how to use Git and GitHub, because you will never be working alone. You will be working in teams, and you need to have like a collaboration between teams. So for that, we usually use Git and GitHub for version control. So Git and GitHub पे क्या होता है, like you can store your code online and someone can make changes to that, send you a pull request, you can accept that, and that code, the new code, gets merged into it. I'll create one video about Git and GitHub tutorial, and then now this is the time where you start solving medium and high level problem for your lead code, because this would be probably a time where you would want to get a placement. Obviously, because ये सब पढ़ के ये सब करके end goal is getting a good job या फिर do some freelancing. That's why mostly अगर end goal is getting a job, then you need to have good projects first of all, which Git and GitHub and जो भी इसके पहले मैंने बोला कि develop a basic app and then keep adding to it, that will cover. And second is so, getting through the coding rounds in the interviews, जिसमें usually medium and hard level के questions होते हैं. Like, you'll also find easy level questions as well. So this lead code practice is only whole and soul directed to prepare you for the interview rounds होंगे जिसमें you will be given a question जो तुमको coding के through solve करना है, and then you also have to think about order of O, big of O, which is like a time and space complexity. So usko bhi dhyan mein rakh ke you have to solve problems. Hence, once you are done with the medium and hard level lead code problems, I think you are good to go and you can crack that dream job of yours. Whatever I have said in this videos, like about the course which I took, which is based on JavaScript, I'll link that in the description. I'll link the CS50 course in the description, as well as I'll be creating a Git and GitHub tutorial. And if you want, if there is enough interest, I will also create a video about basics of Python, how you can start, what are variables, what are loops, what is OOP, and then DSA, and then also I'll start solving few DSA lead code problems as well, but only if there is enough interest. So let me know in the comment section if you are interested, and I'll start making those videos. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.